Aloha! Please kokua and help us reach new viewers by subscribing to our HUOA YouTube page. Look for the red subscribe button on the bottom right. It's free. Your subscription supports our mission to share Uchinanchu Aloha around the world. Also, don't forget to give our videos a thumbs up. Mahalo and yuta surugutu urige sabina.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hi.
Sai. Hi, Lynn.
Long time no see
I know,
ish.
but we're getting to the end, or we're at the end.
Yes.
I opened the center. I opened the center this past Monday. The Hawaii Okinawa Center
Yes.
is
That is
now
big news for
open
us.
to the public. So if you folks want to come and visit and see our new museum, as
Almost
well as look
exactly 2 years. Yeah.
2 years. Yep. Oh
Two
my gosh.
years.
But come
Um,
visit our museum. Come visit. We have our library books a lot more accessible and a lot more organized now. So if you want to look through a lot of interesting topics, we have kind of Japanese section and English section. Stop by.
Yes, and for those of you who haven't been to the Okinawa Center over the last 2 years, you may not recognize the first floor museum. It
Yeah.
is it is great.
Hmm.
Like John said, it's very much so feels like a museum. You want to walk around and look at all the things. And thanks to John, we took the pandemic as an opportunity actually to remove everything from the first floor, to redo the floor, which hadn't been done in 30 years. And so, kind of great way to find the silver lining in having the center closed for 2 years. But we're back open and
Yep.
we're happy to see we got Linda Kamihara. Always good to see
Hey,
you.
Linda.
Jamie.
Oh, Kanyohi in the house.
All right. But happy to be back for our wow 57th episode of Yuntaku Live here.
Hayai
Whew,
ne.
hayai no.
57.
So. Okay, so we definitely, we have a lot of news. I hope all of you still have your Uchiranchu newsletter that you should have received at the end of February. Lots of great stuff, and I hope most of you saw that it's in color now.
Hmm.
It's in color, and that is a big step forward for us.
Right
So
in the middle, we have the color pictures of our Uchinanchu of the year.
yes, and you can click on it there, and that's the purple blast. Um, we have a lot of information on our website now, and DJ is scrolling through it now. We also want to make sure that you guys know about the HUOA Slow Pitch Softball
Mm.
League starting up again. Back, it's been on hiatus, I believe, for a little bit, but definitely, if something, if you are interested, great way to meet other people from other clubs and the people who do it. I know they love it, so definitely
And
tell
if
your
you don't
friends.
know how to join and you're not currently with an Okinawan club, call HUOA and we'll hook you up. And it's fun. It's co-ed, and they actually use not the standard 12-inch softball. They use this kind of special, I believe it's 14 or 16 out seam ball, and so it's real comfortable play and a lot of fun.
Right on, right on. Well, I'm seeing we got a lot of people from here, from California, all the way from Eva Beach. Hi, Jacob. Um, and we got Joanne from California and Tomahang. But thank you guys for joining us. And please do comment, like, and tell us where you're watching from because we always love to see the global nature of our audience.
I'm watching from
Like Pyogen.
YPO Hawaii Okinawa Center.
I'm
But
watching from Mililani. Yeah.
so we're always glad to have all of you joining us for Yuntaku Live, and of course, things are happening. A lot of things are happening. People are wondering about Taikai, Uchinanchu Sekai Taikai, and we just had a meeting, worldwide meeting with Okinawa this past Sunday, and they said they are committed to do it. They're going to have kind of a hybrid of some virtual for people that can't make it, but definitely they're encouraging everybody to get ready, start packing, and making your plans to come to Okinawa. They have every intent to move forward with it. And this is in end of October.
End of
Uh,
October 2022.
October 30th through November 4th is the official
True. So really,
Taikai Day.
yeah. So mark your calendars. We do realize right now that it's still a little bit tricky for us to get into the country, but we're
Mhm.
hoping that will, um, you know, by October, we're hoping that we'll be one of the first ones there probably. So it's
Oh, yeah.
exciting stuff.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
well, and it's Hawaii people will be the first and last ones there, and they have to kick us out. But
Have to
um,
kick this out.
what one other thing, speaking of going to Okinawa, but happens all the time over here is kachashi,
Mm,
and Shari Tamashiro is having a special
yes.
kachashi workshop. This is coming up
So
on
for those of you who don't
Saturday.
know Bokashi,
Yeah.
She's doing a Kachashi 101
Mm.
to help you learn about what is the dance, is it, share some tips, and maybe practice a little bit so that the next time you're at an Okinawan function, you'll be ready to go and get up and dance, and you won't be like afraid of like, oh, what is this? So we have the information here. We can put that in the comments as well. We do ask. It's free. It's a Zoom session, but she does ask that you register so that you can get the Zoom link. So the link to register is there, and I think we'll have it's already there in the chat. I mean, in the comments, and you can use that link to register. It's this Saturday at 4 p.m. Hawaii time.
Hey,
So,
wow! I'm in that picture. That was at the
you are in the
convention center. That was our yummy event at the convention center. If I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
nice. Yes. So, learning kachashi is definitely one of those things that will make you feel more like it's just fun. Like there's no we always say there's no wrong way to do it, but there's definitely a way to do it.
No, there's no wrong way to do it.
There's no wrong way, but there's definitely, like, you'll notice there's a lot of common dance moves, and so Sherry is going to take people through that. So Kachashi 101, Saturday, March 12th at 4 p.m. Hawaii time via Zoom. Please register at the link in the comments.
Yep. Thank you, Sherry Tamashiro, for putting that together. The more people that could join us.
Whistle. So I tried to learn how to whistle, whistling 101, but I just wasn't very good at it.
Hey, that's another workshop.
Yeah, another workshop. I'm still trying.
Okay, great. Well, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be coming up with all these fun activities, as we get back to normalcy. We're in such a different normal for such a long time. But of course, as Lynn mentioned, we were able to pivot and bring Yuntaku live, to all of you. And we're going to continue doing it. And so we learned a lot during the pandemic. So we can't be all that bummed out about the last 2 years. We did a lot of new exciting things, and we can share so much more with all of you now.
Yep. All right.
We ready for 57 Yuntaku Live?
All right. Yes. So today, John actually is going to introduce our next guest.
Yep. Our guest for today, our special guest for today. A lot of people here in our community already are very familiar with him. I'm familiar with him from Hanabara days, long time ago.
I didn't know this. I'm learning a lot of stuff too. So
yeah, so he we went to Japanese school together, and as you'll probably find out in this Yuntaku Live, he didn't need to go to Japanese school, but he did. I needed to go to Japanese school. And probably one of the reasons why I didn't learn that a lot of Japanese was because he was there and we were doing everything.
It's Hiro's fault, right?
It is Hiro's fault. And so we were doing everything else but learning Japanese. Of course, he didn't need to learn. So anyway, I'm going to blame him anyway. So let's bring Hiro on and let everyone meet him.
Hiromichi Nago.
Hi, Saigusuyo. Wanne Nago Hiromichi in DC I've wanne Uchina umare Hawaii sodachi nama Hawaii Liliha uti kurashibigata soibin gusuyo mishoti usamubi sebiri. Aloha, hi Sai. I'm Hiromichi Nago. Thank you for inviting me on Yuntaku Live. Yeah, I was born in Okinawa, but grew up in Oahu in Liliha. So I'm proud to be here. And yeah, I knew John from a long time ago, but he has more hair than I do, so I'll probably look much older.
Well, that's because you grew up, became intelligent and mature, and I didn't. So there's a difference right there. But let's start with getting people to know you better. So I'm going to turn it over to Lynn.
So Hiro, tell us, that's already interesting story for us is that you were born in Okinawa but raised in Hawaii. So kind of walk us through your family.
Okay, sounds good. So I don't know if we have a photo of it, but yeah. So the first Nago, Nago was Heijun Soku.
Oh, hang on, just a second.
Yeah,
Did you hear echo? Okay.
Are we good?
Well, when I said your family, yeah, you went way back.
way back.
That's very classic Okinawan. We,
So
genealogy
it's so
is important
funny,
to
yeah.
us.
We
Yeah.
had this picture, black and white picture of this, gentleman in our room and in my uncle's room. So I've never seen this color photo, but his name was Teijun Soku, and he was actually born and educated in Kumemura in Naha. So about 1963. His father was fluent in Chinese, and he actually went to China many times. So when he was 21, he went to China and studied there for 3, 4 years. He's kind of well known for writing Japanese style waka and yuka. Since he traveled back and forth to Okinawa many times, he actually wrote a detailed book on navigation. So actually, we come back from a family of navigators. So that's pretty cool. That was
really
between the Fuso, China, and Naha, of course. And then Teijun Soku was also recognized since Okinawa was invaded by the Satsuma clan. They were kind of paraded up to tribute to the shogun, right? So that was called the Edo Nobori. So during one of those, I guess, travels when they would take like the musicians, officials, he actually presented at that time the six morals was called the Ryukyu Engi. So that was kind of important in that the shogun was so impressed that he introduced that to the Japanese Teraoka schools. And that was like the education that started there for about 300 years. So the six courses were like be filial to your parents, respect social superiors, live in harmony with your fellow villagers, work diligently at your occupation, and do no evil. Yeah, so this picture, actually, I went and attended a forum on Nago Uekata in Nago. So when I saw the actual, so I was like, wow, hey, this is what I got inside my home. So that's pretty neat. Yeah.
Wow. So that to recognize something that you saw at home in the actual scroll, that's got to be cool.
That's pretty interesting.
So he's your ancestor, right? And he's the
so thanks to my dad, right? So we got to kind of find out the lineage.
Wow.
So that's really, I'm curious. So when you said he was the first Nago, is because he was put, he was put in charge of administering the lands of Nago, and that's what took on the name Nago.
Right. So actually, the royal government in Shuri awarded him the post or administrator of the lands of Nago. So he was given the title of Nago Uekata. So he was also known as the Sage of Nago. But he lived to like 70 something. But unfortunately, he lost all his children. So I guess they were all adopted into his family afterwards.
I think
so this one is from the Chokke, which is the oldest, the first son of each family line that maintains all that treasures. So I didn't know these things existed.
But it's really thanks to your great grandparents or your grandparents, I think.
Actually, my father, while he was there, that he did the research. Yeah, and there was a cool picture of a mon too. So we actually have a mon photo too.
DJ, let's see if we can scroll back to that large photo one. I'm trying to see, I guess there's a resemblance to Hiromichi.
Maybe if I grew out the beard.
Yeah, you need a longer beard.
I can see it. No, that's awesome.
Wow. So you're great. So let's see. So who eventually immigrated to Hawaii?
Yeah. So I think one of the questions was my great grandparents. Who was that? And that was my grandparents were like the 13th generation. Yeah. So that's my grandfather is Kosaku. His nickname was Bakuyo Nago. My grandmother was Matsu Dakujaku. She was from Awase. So he was also known as Bakuyo. He was like a merchant and trader. So he actually accumulated a lot of land. So he was very, I guess, wealthy. And he lived in Uezu, area called Hantabaru, which was, according to my mom, was like a Shizuoka. It's a kind of samurai crafts area where they lived over there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Well, this is a wonderful treasure that you have here, this family photo of great-grandparents. And so, let's see. And then your grandfather.
Yeah, my grandfather. So he's the 14th generation. So he was born in the same area in Hantabaru. Then, because in Okinawan style, he's a second born, so you don't
Mhm.
get anything. Women don't get anything. The second born son doesn't get anything.
So
The
only chonan.
oldest, which was Kotoku, he would get everything. So he actually immigrated to Kauai, as an immigrant laborer when he was 16 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, just the other day, my dad said, "Hey, I found that." So he got this old passport, and he actually arrived August 18 in 1906. And on the
Wow.
left is my grandma, so Ushi Fukuji. She was born in Kian, Gushikawa. So actually, when my grandfather turned 18, he called her over to Hawaii and got married. So
Hmm.
I'm assuming that was his sweetheart back in Okinawa.
Wow. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm knowing kids 16, 18 years old right now, and I can't imagine, these decisions that our grandparents made. And I think a lot of people watching our show, these look like people we know. Like we have similar photos, right? I was like, oh wow, she looks like another, like relative I have. I know that's not her, but that's amazing. And now just to have these photos and share them with the world, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So your grandfather immigrated to Kauai. He called your
Mhm.
grandmother over, and so they I don't know what's the word, set up shop, and they lived on Kauai for a while. Or
Yeah, looks like they stayed for a couple years. I had my uncle Koki and my auntie Matsue born there. Then I guess they moved on to Big Island Pepekeo Camp, and
Mhm.
then my other auntie Chiyoko was born there, and then they moved to Paia, Maui.
Wow.
So yeah, my grandfather was working the I think pineapple, and that was
Mm,
like in the 1930s, and then so that's when the depression right came out. So
yeah.
according to my dad, they went bankrupt, and
Mm.
so he actually took on like the most dangerous jobs. So he got a job being the dynamite man to build up the road to Haleakala.
Oh wow.
So can you imagine, like, no OSHA, right? So they actually, just
Mhm.
light them up and then just cover your head if the rocks fall on you. And that's what actually happened is some rocks fell on him and they thought he was going to die. But from what I remember on my grandpa, I guess he studied some kind of martial arts. So he could kind of control his pain and somehow he recovered. And
Jeez.
eventually, yeah, my father and my other auntie was born later. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. What a I feel like we can learn so much, right, from the generations before us. Toughness being one thing. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another interesting backstory on that one is because his older brother, he didn't
Mhm.
have any children, so the first two born was sent back to Okinawa to be
Oh,
raised by his brother and the grandparents. So that was a kind of interesting story to hear about that as well.
wow.
It's surprising they send the firstborn back. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I
But
guess
I guess that
because
was
now
because
they
your
had my
dad,
father. Yeah.
yeah, because your dad was the first one, but his I
oh
guess he
no,
came
oh,
back
okay,
to Okinawa was the chonan, right? And he never had
yeah, the
children.
the
Yeah, that
older
makes sense.
brother. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so these are your parents. These are your
Yeah,
parents.
so my dad is Kosei, and then my mom is Yaeko Gale. So my dad was actually born there in Paia, Maui, so he's a Nisei.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some question like which side you go to by. From what I remember, is you go by your father's side, yeah. So
Mm.
he was a
Yeah.
Nisei, and then my mom was actually born in Gushika. Well, actually, she was born in Hyogo-ken.
Hmm.
So the mom was working in a textile company. So she was also from Agena Gushikawa, but born in Hyogo-ken, and moved up back to Okinawa. But fortunately, she lived through all that invasion, during the Battle of
Mm,
Okinawa. So yeah, she kind of told me some stories, but yeah, I didn't want to talk too much about it. But,
Mm.
like many people.
yeah. So
Wow.
then my dad grew up in Kula. So after my grandfather worked hard, got money, bought another property up in Kula. So then they moved to the family farm. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they grew all kind of vegetables, had livestock. So my aunties would always comment, we weren't rich, but we always had enough to eat. And, Okinawan community, all the neighbors always helped each other. So they always had good stories to talk about those days.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the part of why somebody asked me how come the community is so strong here, and I think it has a lot to do with that. Like there was definitely that period of time when everyone just kind of had to chip in. right? And like nobody was really rich, but as long as nobody went hungry,
Right.
like that was how things were.
Yeah. And then you're a Maui girl too, right?
My dad's side is from Maui. Yep. My dad grew up in Kahului. Pu'unene, actually, I should say.
Yeah. That's nearby.
Yeah. So I think the only thing there left is the Sugar Museum and the school. Pu'unene School is still there.
Right.
But yeah, he has lots of great stories about growing up on the plantation. I think that he enjoyed. He said, nobody, like same thing, no OSHA, right? No such thing. Play on the super dangerous in the ditches and all of that stuff. But, they all survived somehow. So,
it's amazing how many different things your dad did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
So afterwards, I guess, finished school, then he joined the army, went to Europe. And after serving Europe, and then he went back to Okinawa as a civilian. And he said he worked for a radio repair store and helped take care of the property that my grandfather purchased. So, work hard, send the money back, buy property. So, I think my father, he had a pretty good life. But he wanted to get an engineering degree. So he said he went to mainland to go to engineering school. But unfortunately, my grandmother, his mother, passed away. So he went back to Okinawa again in 1960.
Wow. So he was there during all the reconstruction. Yeah, that was a tough period in Okinawa. I think right after the war, things were in the 60s, and
I guess because he had the engineering degree, he actually built the first 2-story concrete house in that neighborhood, and it's pretty impressive because it's still standing. And my aunties and uncle were still living there today.
Yeah.
After about 4,000 typhoons, it's still standing.
Yeah, my mom, she, after, I guess, intermediate school was like equivalent to high school. She went to work for the post office, and she was also like a telephone operator. So she had a really well-paying job.
Yeah, that was definitely like you said, that was a high skill job back then, right? So.
Yeah. And so I guess they met there while in Okinawa, and myself and my younger brother was born.
So that's how you're born in Okinawa.
Right. Yeah. So
you and your so this is your mom?
Yeah. So I would be 16th generation now.
Wow.
So I had good memories going there in Okinawa. I was telling John, remember my father had a toy store, so I could go and pick out any toys I wanted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how old were you?
This one, I'm thinking like 3 or 4, I think already. Yeah.
So you went to Yochien?
Yeah. So I don't know if we have a picture there with my bonnet. Seibu Yochien. This is in Koza. It's a Christian preschool. I think it's still there from what I heard, But yeah, you see that arrow? That's me over there, right in the middle.
Wait, I have to mention this because I think DJ, also our current HUA president, because he also was in Okinawa as a little kid, and he also went to Seibu. Sorry, DJ, I know you're in the back scene right now, but you're. Oh, we can't hear you. Sorry, because you had to turn your audio off.
Saniku Shogakko. But yeah, it was a Christian school too.
Seibu Yochien.
Yeah.
Alumni. We got 2 of them right here tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would catch the bus by myself. You get trained, catch the bus, go down, and catch the bus back. So in Okinawa, kids just do their own thing, right? So that was pretty fun.
They still do. They walk around Naha at like 9 o'clock at night. You see like a 4th grader walking by himself or herself.
Okay. So how old were you? So was it right after this that you moved?
Yeah. So I guess I thought it was maybe because of Vietnam War, but from what I understand from my dad, because Okinawa was getting ready for reversion, that was better to come back Hawaii. So we moved back when I was 5 years old. Yeah. So we moved back. They were my auntie in Liliha. Then later purchased the home where we currently live down the street. Yeah.
Very good. So were you able to speak English when you came over?
Good question. Of course not. So my first language was Japanese. And it's so funny because I'm working with Jefferson Elementary School, and my auntie that we lived with had a what do you call, a store there in Kapahulu. So they sold all kind of snacks, liquor, and all kind of other stuff. So from Liliha, I would catch the bus, and I'll go to Jefferson Elementary School to attend English as a second language. So I went there first. And then later to my alma mater, my Elementary School,
Oh
which I
wow.
believe John's auntie was teaching over there. And I think I had her as well.
Wait, so that's where you guys met at Japanese school? Or no?
No, if I got kicked out of my after kindergarten, and that's why I ended up at the Catholic school. But the and not being Catholic to today, but the yeah, my and his house was just literally up the river, up the stream from my grandmother's house. So I could just go down in the river and then go upstream about 5 houses, and then I'd be at Nago's house. So.
Very cool. So no, hey, that's cheat. You were in Japanese class, but your first language is Japanese.
Yeah, it was more for playing and
Yeah. Pencil fight and things that he
Oh my
excelled at, like
gosh.
things like that.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's so funny.
Awesome. So I'm just imagining young John and young Hiro running
For
around.
some reason, we play with the tennis ball. We like be throwing these
Oh,
tennis
yeah.
balls back and forth.
Oh
and
my goodness.
It was
So-
amazing. We
Good
weren't
memories.
there. We weren't. Well, I wasn't there. He obviously wasn't there to learn Japanese. But yeah, we could throw a tennis ball at about 50 miles an hour and catch it with one hand, no problem.
man.
Oh my goodness. Your poor teachers. So did you go to Washington or what? And then you went
Yeah,
to
so Liliha, Kaunakua, then
Kaunakua.
eventually McKinley High School. Yeah, so I
All right.
graduated from McKinley.
So
Oh
you're
yeah, so
proud
this is
McKinley?
like, yeah, when I was young,
Oh,
mostly
wow.
my parents, I kind of like, they were strong in their church, so grew up eating like natural grown food,
Mm.
helping their nature farm, and they had a kendo club over there, so I grew up learning kendo from elementary school to about just about middle school. So
Mm.
this was a photo of us going to the Budokan.
That's you in the center, right? Right next
Yeah,
to the
we all
the
the
guy in the
curly
white
hair.
tee. Mm.
Nago.
Wow. So is this one you're in high school?
No, this is an intermediate school yet.
Oh,
So
high school.
yeah, so that's my high
Oh,
school
wow.
photo
Yeah.
days.
Nice.
Yeah,
You can tell
so
that you can date this
McKinley.
picture because who wears velour shirts anymore?
yeah,
Classic.
it is.
Velour shirts, velour shirts, and
Velour.
corduroy pants.
Very
Those
cool.
are the
Very
days.
cool.
Yeah.
And so
So
then
my
where
family wasn't really into Okinawan things like that. So by that time, I was like more into surfing and other things.
like any
Surfing,
local
building hot rod cars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
but it looks like
Yeah,
Eventually,
later I got into Okinawa. So I went to UH for college. Went to engineering, but I didn't really feel connected to it. I didn't know what kind of engineer. But when you're young and going first college, you either become a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, right? So and then I think that's why John became a lawyer. But actually, I took some classes in horticulture because I used to go visit Maui and help out at my cousin's farm up in Kula. So I really enjoyed, life science. So took some classes and then I went there, transferred to Trop Ag. Yeah. But during that time too, then I wanted to learn more about my roots. So that's why I got into learning Sanshin, joined Young Okinawans, played Sanshin, Asa. Then, Shishimai.
Wow.
So that time I took over Wesley Unten
Mm.
so as a culture chair. So that's why I was like watching over 3 of the shisas that time.
Yeah, that's the kin, the naha, and the haibara shishi behind him.
Yeah. So that's another picture when I was performing with Norman Kanishiro sensei. So I remember some of the interviews, him and Scotty. So I used to help do shishimai with both of them as well too, and Grant Higa too back in those days.
Oh yeah, that's right. Even Mitchell too, maybe.
Yeah, and then I think Wesley Wania was also a
Yeah.
shishimai
Yeah.
performer.
Oh, nice. This is the not next gen, but previous gen, I guess. Young Okinawa.
Yeah, so thanks to
glad
John,
all
he's
these names are
nurturing
still
the next
here,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good, very good.
Yeah, so thanks to Masandu Murata Sensei, I was like a sponge. I just try to absorb whatever I could, back in the early days in his garage. And, nobody was really practicing so much. But, I said, okay, I will bring up and learn Choichi Terukina of Soryu style. And so, I found a way to go to Okinawa. So I, contacted Choichi Sensei, and, he's so generous. He took us under his wings. Photo there is at the opening of Shuri Castle. On the right is his nephew, so Susumu Sensei. I was actually living in Sashikicho, which is opposite and kind of farther away. So just thought I could study more. I joined his dojo as well too.
So you went back to Okinawa.
Yeah, so after college, about 1990, I was in Okinawa. So I had a job teaching English. So it wasn't through JET or through, that route, but directly with the Ministry of Education. Yeah, so I got to stay there longer. So this photo was like 1992, but actually the first year, I didn't pass. So the following year we had like June and Grace, and followed by Kenten and all these people. They already got their sensei certificate. So at least I was there to at least kind of take care of them on the side when they first came to Okinawa. So
that's exciting. 1990, early 90s. Yeah, that was a good time to be in Okinawa.
So I was mentioning, Joanne Yosemori was the coordinator, international relations that time. So we had a pretty good group, of locals up in Okinawa.
Good times. So
so there's a shot of Sashikicho, which is on the southern and opposite end. So that's Batenko. We have a nice bay. You have the Tsukishiro Mountain, surrounded by a lot of sugarcane. So I really had a great time. Community really welcomed me, especially in the area where I lived. Yeah, so this is a group shot, helping each other, Yuimaru. So they would get together, harvest sugarcane. So they invited me over, so they would harvest. That's a group shot. I'm with this Mine dojo group. Karate Sensei left is Nanko Sensei. That's a Goju-ryu club. But so after they would harvest, then they would have yagijiru, so goat soup. Yeah, and a lot of Okinawan spirits to celebrate after that as well.
Just a few.
So in that area, we had so many senseis. They had all kind of get-togethers. That's one of their actual relative making tofu from scratch. So grind the tofu.
Oh, I miss Okinawan
They had the seawater, and then it was fun. It was good times.
Tofu oishii yo ne.
Yeah, and so they incorporated me to their Tsuako Boat Jitsu members. So Hari boat race, they called me over and joined them. So I got to experience really a lot why I went to Okinawa, to learn about the Okinawan culture and my roots.
Oh, that's awesome. This is amazing. And like you said, like taking advantage of all these things to get involved and, spend your weekends helping the guys cut sugarcane and things like that is probably priceless, really, right?
Yeah, so it's different when you actually get a chance to live there, versus just going for a few days or a week or something. So
you really get the sense of
it's really turning point. So giving back, sharing our American culture. This is Halloween with the karate dojo kids. So bring up.
Are you bobbing for apples in a wok?
Yeah, so that was so fun. It was hilarious, but they had fun too. It's like they never had done that before, right? So bobbing for apples, but after they get it, I think it's the next shot. Then they get to enjoy their treat. So,
Wow,
simple, but they had fun.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, so Christmas party at the Mine Dojo Club. So if you look around there, they have the old school karate dogu and all the wooden and concrete mallets and stuff. So really old school. Yeah.
Wow, that's a tall tree.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you got to do bo, hari, karate. Looks like every Asa. That is like the dream for a lot of.
So during that time, I got to meet my other half, my partner Chikako, and it's so funny. My son was also born in Okinawa, so I don't know. I just repeated the same thing again. Yeah? So Corey would be like the 17th generation now.
And Chikako, next time we're gonna add photos of you back into the PowerPoint.
I know. Well, those of you listening and watching, we did go back a couple episodes, and Chikako Nago was on our officers episode, but yeah, she's the other, maybe better half.
Yeah, she's a lot famous. She does more than I do for sure. Yes, I think more people know Chikako. Yeah. So I'm glad. Yeah, so she's back helping out, volunteering a lot. Yeah, she does a lot, but she enjoys it. That's the main thing.
Oh, and we appreciate it very
Yep.
much so too. It's
Currently one of our HUOA vice presidents for 2022.
Okay.
Hey. So this is your son Cody.
Yeah.
And then
So during that time, after 5 years, then we were kind of getting ready back to move to Hawaii. But I wanted to learn more about Professor Higa and EM technology. So I kind of knew about him before. When I was in Hawaii working for that orchid nursery, actually one of the guys came over looking for orchids, and then he talked about Professor Higa, and he brought some EMX, which is one of our drinks for immune system. So I went to some of his lectures, but yeah, it was pretty amazing. We were just starting. 1994, he formed EM Research Organization to be in charge of the technology. So I actually contacted him to learn more about it. I interned for about a year until 96, but Hawaii wasn't ready yet for EM. So we came back. I came back to Hawaii. Chikako actually started working for United Airlines. So I was Mr. Mom. I was staying home and watching Corey because I knew already that I wanted to do EM and make it my life mission. So I said, no, I'm gonna do EM. So just be patient. And sure enough, later on, I got called back. So we started the Hawaii operation as a researcher and started EM Research Branch Office in 1997. So my other motivation was my daughter is going to be born that year too. So I better hurry up and learn as much as I could so I can come back and start it up. So this is Professor Higa, right? So when I contacted Dr. Higa, he said, okay, join research. And he gave us this book, Earth Saving Revolution. He wrote many books in Japanese, but this was the first one translated to English. And, after I read that, I said, wow, this is pretty amazing. I want to learn more about it, help people in Hawaii and the rest of the world.
So EM is the name of kind of, I don't know if technology is the right word, but it's the name, and it stands for Effective Microorganisms.
Right. Yeah. So that's the acronym. So that's the trademark for the specific group of microbes that, he developed and discovered kind of by chance, but then afterwards fine-tuning it. Yeah. So you can see here. Yeah. So Ryukyu University. So he actually his grandfather immigrated to Hawaii. Then when he went back, was teaching Dr. Higa when he was young how to garden and farm. And Dr. Higa, he didn't want to go backwards to do composting, all that kind of stuff. So he really was into conventional agriculture, and he wanted to be a professor using nowadays technology. But during his application and research over the weekend, he wasn't feeling good in his 30s. And the doctor said, you got pesticide poisoning. If you keep this up, you're not going to live till 50. So he realized, wow, what he was actually advocating and using and telling his students to use was not only harming the environment, but human health. So then he switched and started studying microorganisms because he knew he had a lot of good results with that. But it was like a 15, 16-year journey, trying to get microbes from the microbial bank, from nature. But he just kept saving the ones that were safe because he knew what he found out was they're all pretty much fermentative bacteria, the ones we use in food production. And he could tell by the smell too. The putrid ones are the harmful ones, and the smelling, the sweet, sour, fermentive style were the beneficial ones. And
kind
just by chance,
bacteria,
so he just by chance he poured that solution on some grass and it started growing amazingly. Then he went backwards to fine tune it to the basic three, that we use today. And so when he first introduced it in academia, nobody believed these microbes that like air and didn't like air could survive together. But that's his discovery and contribution to mankind, and we're used in over 100 countries around the world today in all kinds of different ways.
So what exactly does it look like?
So I don't know if we have some other slides later that might have the microbes.
Okay.
So that's probably later on. That's the Genki ball we'll talk about later. But basically, the three main ones are we use in food production lactic acid bacteria. We use yogurt, cheese.
Mhm.
The yeast, you make the beer, wine. And the other third one is that phototropic bacteria, which actually feeds on all our waste, the stinky stuff. That's
Mhm.
their food. Yeah, that's where they like to consume.
Wow.
One of
So
I know you'll talk about the products in a little while, but the one of the products I think you brought over to the Okinawan Center might have been the gold. I'm not sure, the EMX gold, but
Mhm.
we were using it because the hornets were attacking, our tree and the dago tree, and
Mhm.
we sprayed it on there, and I never saw the dago come out. I wish I had the photo of it, but it came out really bright red
Right.
oh,
and full. And then since that time, although I think the wasps are getting back to it again, we kind of stopped, or we ran out, and the dago doesn't look the same. So
Yeah.
I can say that, wow, that it made a difference. I
Yeah.
saw the difference.
It's this one, the EM one, the regular microbial inoculant. So this has a multi-use label, so you can use for garden, cleaning, deodorizing. Yeah, it's a concentrate and using dilution from a couple teaspoons
and this is a
to
born
tablespoon.
in Okinawa technology, right?
Yeah, it is. I know. But yeah, so John was referring to the galwas. So they like to attack the dago tree, and a couple of them had at one point where it kind of decimated quite a bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, but spraying EM, yeah, when you spray foliar, it naturally keeps some of the pests and bugs in check. But in the ground, the microbes actually help to take up the nutrients, make it more available. So the trees don't have to work so hard, even stressful conditions. Yeah, they also use here for bioremediation for like our Genki Alawai project in the form of the mud balls. So yeah,
Yeah.
bacteria naturally occurring, they can do so many things, but in the form of this EM concentrate, it just speeds up the process right away. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
So
this
this
is
is
another popular product. It's called Pro EM. It's a daily probiotic. So usually most probiotics are pill or capsule form. So that's pretty questionable because they're freeze dried and not alive. So ours is liquid and you know it's alive, but it's the specific microbes, which is key, right? So just taking a tablespoon with a glass of water really helps with your digestion, absorption of nutrients, suppressing your bad microbes. But also when you go number two, it helps with your bowel movement. So they work a lot
keeps you
with your
all
immune
working.
system. So now between when we had COVID, this and our other product was such a great seller, and people can see the results too. So that's the main thing, and it's really easy to drink. Fermented food is really good too, like yogurt and kombucha, other stuff. But you have other products like dairy, sugar, um, but this is strictly microbes, so you don't need a lot, and you don't have to refrigerate it. That's a good thing.
So if I drink that, I can eat the whole pizza instead of half the pizza.
Hey, look at me, man.
So this is the compost, the Bokashi bucket.
Yeah, so this is another popular. It's called EM Bokashi, which is the EM liquid you saw earlier, mixed into rice bran or wheat bran. So that's the picture on the right. And then next to it is our fermenter bucket. So this system allows you to recycle all solid food waste, meat, fish, cooked food, uncooked food, because of that fermentation process. So usually you can't compost high protein meat, fish, because it'll get really stinky, attract
Yeah.
flies, putrefy and rot. But because you're fermenting and pickling it, just like you're making skimono of your garbage. So it just takes a few weeks. So you add your food waste, sprinkle the food bran, add more food waste, sprinkle it, kind of make like a lasagna. What's good about this one has a little spigot, so you can capture that bokashi tea that's full of EM microbes and nutrients, so you can water that around your plants. But the main thing is the food waste. So that one you just mix in like a pot in your garden, or you can do a planter box.
Yeah.
You wait 2 to 4 weeks and it becomes like excellent nutrients. And so, in fact, Kokua Hawaii Foundation, I know in schools actually started teaching it as part of their third grade composting lesson plan. So a lot of schools are already doing that too, besides the worms and the worm castings.
Yeah. Teaching the kids how
How-
to compost.
I mean, if you could answer it real quick, I mean, what is the difference between the worm compost, method, and then the bokashi?
Yeah, so worms are good, but it just takes a lot longer, and you only can feed them more greens, but also some carbon. So they put some cardboard or shredded paper. So a mixture of that. Where versus this one, we're using the microorganisms, and you can do all food waste.
Oh.
Very cool. And then do we have another?
Yeah, so this is our main one. This is the highlight. It's called EMX Gold for your immune system. It's only made in Okinawa, but yeah, shipped out all over the world. So this is the byproduct from the microbes itself. We saw the probiotic, which is live. Then
Mhm.
this product has a mixture of different ingredients, nigari, yeast extract, called calcium. It's fermented by the microbes, but then microfiltered. So all that's left is all the enzymes and antioxidants. So you can imagine it's so small, it just goes straight into your bloodstream. So it works with your natural killer cells, but it also has anti-inflammatory properties. So just like a tablespoon a day to maintain your immune system. But if you feel tired and weak, you take more. So we market it as a a health drink, but it does so many things. It's just amazing.
Oh,
That's
so you don't just open the cap and drink the whole bottle?
yeah, no.
Okay.
But if you're really sick, you
I
can.
need instructions.
But
I need
yeah,
instructions.
you can that will last you about a couple months to about a month. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
If I drink the whole bottle, would that last me a couple months?
You'll be a lot
Wow.
full of energy, I think.
Wow,
You have real
that's
good poop.
This one you can add it to coffee, tea, works a lot
Oh,
better.
wow.
There's hardly any taste, and you can add it to food too, so your family can have antioxidant-rich food economically. Yeah.
so adding it to coffee or tea or hot drink doesn't basically destroy the
Yeah,
enzyme.
a lot of antioxidants will break down when you apply heat to it, but Professor Higa is always innovating and making it better. So due to that select ingredients, it actually gets 6 times more powerful. So
Hmm.
yeah, I always add it to my coffee every morning
Wow.
Mm.
and drink
So,
the Pro EM too.
um, so you've taken us through some of these things, but you're doing a really interesting project right here in Hawaii with some of the schools that had the ball. Yeah, these Genki
This
balls.
is not Andagi, people.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
or
Genki balls.
Malasada.
I don't know
Right.
if you remember. You
Yeah.
should make your own commercial. You should try to get the copyright. Tito, you remember there was a song in Japan. It was like Genki Genki Miruku no Mu Genki Genki. You should use that for your Genki balls. I'm sure it's past its patent time already. It's probably
Oh my
30
gosh.
years old. But
Oh
these are
man.
amazing. Go ahead, talk about these Genki balls.
Yeah, so Genki, of course, means healthy, vital in Japanese. So we actually use that term because the Osaka fishermen actually term these EN mud balls called Genki balls, Genki Dama. And it's packed full of our microorganism, EM, rice bran, and some molasses, which is a sugar to allow them to grow in the soil. So according to USDA, 1 teaspoon of a healthy soil has 100 million to billion beneficial bacteria. So I weighed a Genki ball like this. So that weighs about 165 grams, which is 33 teaspoons. So one ball would actually have 330 3 billion to 33 billion beneficial bacteria. Just
Wow.
one. So, that's why we can see such great results right away.
And then what did the kids do with these? So they helped create them, right? And then they
Right.
had this whole ceremony about throwing them in.
Yeah. So we have the Genki Alwai project. So that's something that we really worked on for a long time. And then, yeah, our vision is to make it swimmable, fishable in 7 years. And this is from Nainoa Thompson. We had the Hokulea come back to the convention center as part of the Malama Honua tour. And that's how we actually first started, yeah, along with the students trying to use this technology as part of the Make the Alawai Awesome Challenge that was done by President Lasner. And after they went to New York and saw the oysters trying to clean up Hudson Bay in 20 years, they say, hey, let's make the Alawai awesome. And then they put out the challenge to the kids. But, we know with microorganism, we can do it much faster than 20 years. So I'm glad that although it wasn't selected, we finally got to start with this project. Yeah. I don't know what's on the next
let's
slide,
see.
though. But yeah, so that's kind of working how it works. So the ball, the microbes in form of a ball would drop down, right? You want to go to the bottom of the canal. So oysters, they're in the floating cages because they can't survive all the sludge and all the muck. So that's why they're in floating cages. But with the microbes, they can go down to the bottom where all the actual detritus, the rotten organic matter is. And as they absorb water, they release the microbes. We actually start eating up all that sludge. So once the sludge is fermented, then all the other higher forms like phytoplankton, zooplankton that feed on microbes, they also become abundant, and then fishes, clams, and everything all come back to the system.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So we talked about that. We can skip to the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Hawaii, before we started, we had a lot of baseline projects. The zoo started in 1997. Four Seasons HUOA Resort actually took care of the Anchialine ponds since 2007. So they learned about that way back then. The Coast Guard, San Island base uses a lot for cleaning up their mess hall, the fat oil grease. They use it for their pump station. So they've been a regular user of EM. And we helped a lot of aquaculture people, Big Island, abalone. They had a lot of sludge buildup. So they used the EM to help break down all the sludge so they could have a nice flow through. And Taylor Shellfish, that's a big integrated company. People don't know it, but they actually raise the baby clams and oysters in Nelhau on the Big Island. So they use
Oh,
EM as a probiotic, and then so they ship it back to Washington to grow out in the Bay. And one product before they were growing these huge Malaysian prawns too that they used EM in. So that was pretty cool.
very cool.
Yeah, these are just a strategic plan. This is our third year already. We started earlier, but this is what we're trying to do. So want to make it swimmable, fishable in 7 years, right? So that's our purpose. Where we're going to be checking water quality, bacteria level, sludge level, and the toxicity in the fish. So the fish actually has a high level of lead and pesticides. So that's all the runoff from all the 3 rivers, and that's why the Department of Health put the no swimming, no fishing sign.
I mean, you'll see pictures of it here. I was with you folks on one of these, and we were at the library side. Those of you that are familiar with the Alawai Canal, the library side always looked the grossest because everything just kind of collected back there and just seemed like there was just stale, contaminated water. And we were taking samples and measuring various, elements in it. And I remember going and going, wait, some of these were really actually kind of clean. I was very surprised because as we were testing it, we're getting the readings and wow.
Yeah, so we appreciate John coming out to some of these early events too as well too, and we're very lucky we had the support of Department of Health to take third-party water quality test. So as you mentioned before we started, that stagnant end of the canal, oh man, when the wind blew, it was really stink. I even saw a turtle belly, not turtle, but a rat belly up. So if a rat can survive in that, that's pretty nasty. But because of all the fuel spill, they couldn't help us anymore. So luckily, we approached the city, and now they're able to support us with the collection of the data from this year. So we had quite a bit of baseline data for 3 years already, actually showing the fecal bacteria from 1,300 to about 50 something now, and 130 is like the acceptable level. So wow, we really is showing a big difference.
Wow.
Wait, slow down. Go back to what you just said. You said
I think it might be in the next slide or the data. Well, this is before, and this is when you walk the canal. It'll be like sludge, like this, and then after a few days, 9 days after we threw the ball, you can go to the next one. All that sludge layer is gone, and then you saw all that fishes. That's all fishes coming back there. Yeah, and then the next one you can see before. That was in March of 2020, and it was black. You couldn't even see the sand back there. And by June, you all see that white sands at that Kapahulu end of the canal. It's so quick.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's our timeline. And then 2021 last year, that actually was a 100-year anniversary. So we can go to the next slide. I think we work with the Jefferson Elementary School. They kind of stopped during COVID, but we made 1,500 Genki balls. But yeah, so this is our third year, and now we want to reach out to more organizations and businesses. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah, we already saw that. That's how we first started with the Hokulea. I'll kind of mention about that. And let's see the next one. So they're actually tossing into the students there with Governor Higa and Ainua Thompson. So yeah, that one, we had the kids toss at the end of the pond. That was so fun.
Oh, that must have been super fun for them. So that's all you do. You make the balls and then you toss them in.
The kids actually sift the soil, take out all the big rocks and twigs.
Yeah.
and then they actually toss it in a few weeks later. Yeah, and then after
Oh,
that, you
wow.
let the microbes do all the work. That's all free
Yeah.
labor.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so if you want to click this one, so that's like a few weeks after they tossed it. These are huge mullets swimming back there at the end of the pond. I don't know if there's volume,
You
but
never saw that before, right?
oh my gosh, you'd never see mullets back there. So we started seeing schools of baby mullets and then larger mullets like this coming in. I think we had another shot from the street side. But yeah, after I took that photo, I went to Tamashiro Market. And then, yeah, there's the other slide from the street side.
Mm.
They were like $9.99 a pound. Of course, you don't want to eat the
Still eating.
alawai mullet. Yeah, give them
Oh,
like
that's $5.99. The alawai one.
Yeah.
And so after that, we got pictures of people taking turtles back there too, as well. So,
Wow.
Well, we have DJ. Are you able to pull up the video of the kids also lined up near Jefferson School, or was it Alawai School, and throwing it in?
yeah, that one with the one John kind of did.
You had the.
But it's great to see the kids. I think one of these is Earth Day, and they range from, what was it, kindergarten all the way up to 5th grade.
We had preschool actually.
Oh, preschool.
Yeah.
And so they come in different waves, and just having a ball. I mean,
Oh yeah, that must be so fun.
Yeah, this is Alawai Elementary School. So, it's right in their backyard.
Yeah,
It
and they can
was,
actually see it,
just a great
right?
project.
I mean,
And
I
you
think
can
that's
see we
great.
practiced social distancing. They had all barriers and everything. Yeah, so these are members, Dr. Ken Kaneshiro, Hawaii Exemplary State Foundation. He's also with the University of Hawaii. Ian Peleo, he's teaching at Alui Manu Middle as a science teacher. Marian Kobayashi, she's my longtime partner, educational coordinator. She was with the Challenger Center. But yeah, she helped to introduce Bokashi and recycling food waste as part of the service learning in the Department of Education. And me and Chikako are the technical advisors, and Fumiko helped with our editing and getting the word out to the community as well too. So yeah, we
It's
have
so
a really
great.
good.
These kids, they're gonna go back to, say, right where they're throwing it behind Alawai by the community
look, right?
gardens, and they're gonna go and say, "Look, we threw the balls here," and then the Jefferson kids are gonna be at the library going, "And we threw the balls here." So if this project is truly successful in 7, 10, 15 years, and they look and they see, look how clean, you created a great legacy of these kids being educated and carrying it forward. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so as part of their STEM education, right, science, technology, engineering, math, yeah, it's to learn outside the classroom. So they do a lot of research to learn about the canal, but to actually do hands-on and to actually meet other people like myself or other people with technical engineering or other science-related technology, and for them to actually implement it and see the results and track that. Yeah, it's very empowering that nobody think we can do anything with the alawai. It's been polluted for so many years, and people try to make suggestions, but really we haven't done any impact to it. But referring to back to John, your about the enterococci, the fecal bacteria is over 1,000. It's like 50 now, so it's really low, below the acceptable level. It's really doing really well.
Well, that is awesome. This is such a great project. Thank you so much for sharing like all of this information, and to see the kids, and I mean, I've run by the alawai, right, for so
Okay.
many years, right? And so, but it is wonderful to know that people are, we're doing a lot to clean it up, and that is.
Do we have
Oh,
time?
okay.
We have time. Can we show? There's another video we had lined up.
Okay, so that one is we're going to present it to some funders, but that's our website, genkialawai.org. That's our nonprofit. And our website is emhawaii.com. You can learn more about the information there. And there's also a link to Genki Alawai. We have a lot of past media. Yeah, we were inside the Hanoho magazine recently, and we were on the news and Hawaii Herald. Thank you. So we had some really nice write-ups in the past.
Very cool.
Aloha, my name is Ian Palayo. I'm the project manager for the Genki Alawai project, and I'm also an 8th grade science teacher at Aliumanu Middle School. So the reason why I got interested in this project was it's a nice way to give students a hands-on way to take care of their environment. A lot of times, as educators, even as people in the public realm, we tell people, take care of your environment, but we don't tell people how to do that. So this is one way, like through these Genki balls, we teach students how to take care of their environment through bioremediation. And we actually give students the tools as to how to take care of their environment. So now I'd like to show a video to share a story about our Genki Alawai project and the partnerships we have developed with students, teachers, and the community. The official launch of the Genki Alawai project was timed with the homecoming celebration of Hokulea's Mahalo Sale, the last leg after its worldwide journey. The navigators of Hokulea, a Polynesian double-hulled canoe, used the stars and signs of nature such as the ocean currents, waves, wind, and clouds to find their way. The crew carried the message, Malama Honua, or to care for our island Earth, a message of sustainability and stewardship. It was a great honor and an exciting moment when Master Navigator Nainoa Thompson, Governor Ige, and 3 students who entered the Make the Alawai Awesome Challenge using the EM method led a ceremonial first toss of Genki balls to emphasize the need to restore the health of the canal and its watershed. That day, the Master Navigator stated, when we succeed at cleaning the Alawai, what we can tell the young people and to the world is that we can do anything. There is a reason why cleaning the Alawai is regarded as a daunting task, even by the legendary navigator. With accumulating sludge, runoffs coming from 3 streams, and storm drains feeding directly into the canal, the Alawai has been called pollution's highway to the sea. As Honolulu's upstream population increased, the levels of contamination tested well above limits considered safe to swim or fish. Though the canal was dredged in 2002, in 2006, a local man with a compromised immune system died from bacterial infections after falling into the water. However, it is only in the last 50 years of urbanization that the pollution has gotten so bad. Many locals recall fishing and playing in the Alawai in their childhood days.
I remember one time, like just before we was going to swim across by the golf course, one big stingray, about 3.5 feet wide, long, 7-foot tail, swim right past us. That's how it was over here. Under this bridge, used to have mullet. Mullet would swim up. The canal would be black with the cover of mullet, you know.
When I was young, there was a boathouse over here. And you could rent electric boats, these little round electric boats, and you could go up the canal at night. And they rent rowboats and whatnot, yeah. And that was a big thing when we were kids. We'd always want to come, hey, let's go rent a boat and hop in the boat.
Growing up here, we used to go swimming in the Alawai, right by the entrance of Alamoana Beach Park. And then, you know, I used to see a lot of fishing chairs out in the canal with Japanese fishermen fishing for the mullet, Samoan crabs once in a while.
To bring back the Alawai to what it once was, the Genki Alawai project got started. What was unique about the starting process of our project was that it started in the classroom. Teachers valued the Genki ball making process as a way to teach students that they can actually help revitalize the Alawai by tossing balls into the canal.
I think when our students and our teachers heard about it, they immediately jumped on. And they wanted to participate and they collaborated, and we had 4th grade team of teachers collaborating with our preschool teachers and having the students work together on this project and knowing that they were going to make a difference, they're going to have an impact in our community, and I think that made it more meaningful. It turned into an open inquiry process. It's project based in our own backyard. We couldn't ask for more. It's exciting learning, and our kids really loved it, and it's a memorable experience for them.
We were so fortunate to partner with EMRO and thus build our partnerships, and the students were so motivated with the whole 4th grade and the preschoolers as well. They loved getting messy, getting hands-on, engaged, being connected with the earth. It's so empowering, so united to feel soil in your hand, to know these are live microbes in here. They felt they weren't in school. Felt like they were playing. This was one monumental, most wonderful activity they enjoyed together.
Jefferson and the Alawai Elementary Schools have the Alawai Canal in its backyard. They made close to 1,000 Genki balls, and on this day, they got to toss them into the canal for the first time.
Like I said, today is a celebration. Beautiful Genki balls that you're going to get to toss today.
Today is the very, very first day the Alawai will get some help from us so that it can become healthy again. And don't we want to see the Alawai healthy and vibrant? Yes!
Aloha! 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 So we're going to imagine at this time, everybody close your eyes. And imagine a clean Alawai where it's pristine blue, somewhere you could swim, no sludge, no mud, no trash, no rubbish, fresh water pathway. So it's about time we name it what it means, okay?
The students learned about the condition of the canal as part of their STEM education. They made Genki balls and monitored them for 2 weeks before tossing them into the canal. The effective microorganisms in the Genki balls will sink to the bottom of the canal. They will ferment, digest, and oxygenate the sludge, attracting other forms of life that feed on the microbes, thus helping to restore the Alawai's natural ecosystem. Here are the students sharing their learning.
It's like this mud ball that has this solution called EM. One is gonna eat like the sludge under on the bottom of the canal. We liked it because everyone made Genki balls and everyone is eager to make the canal clean. When the canal is clean, everyone will really be happy to see the fish and all the other sea animals back.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Oh my gosh, wow, thank you everyone. Oh, they're great. I mean, I love working with students, you know, they have an open mind, but a lot of them did many of their own research. So we gave just the basic information and they went online, they read the newspaper. We just gave some of the information like the video, the Genki mud balls and how to clean up the environment.
This is the first day that we can actually begin to do something, you know, to improve the health of the Alawai and to have students involved. It's fun and it's such a great day. Yeah.
A lot of beautiful cities like Paris, you know, cities in Belgium, Venice, they have some kind of waterway or like a lake or something, and it's like a center of community, also economic development, benefits the local economy. So, you know, it's a huge opportunity here, I think.
自分たちの運河ですから自分たちでクリーンにしようでこんな風に汚くしたのは誰だろうっていうことをねぜひ解いた時にやっぱり自分たちがやったんだから自分たちで、浄化していこうっていうそういった意識も高まりながらこの団子投げ、続行できたらいいと思います。
Schools around the Alawai poured an additional 10 gallons of EM solution into the canal. In just 3 weeks, the sludge depth decreased by 8 inches. We started seeing small native fish, the goby or the oopu, returning to the Alawai. After one application of EM solution, more sand and rocks emerged on the bottom of the canal. You can see in 2 months, 10 inches of sludge was removed and instead, sand and rocks that were once covered in sludge now could be seen more clearly. Ducks enjoy bathing and drinking the EM water. Large goatfish, or veke, and Samoan crab were visibly seen feeding off the now sandy bottom of the stagnant end of the canal. 1 year after the Genki ball toss, we were amazed to see the silver-colored schools of baby mullet return as well. The EM microbes continue to restore the health and ecosystem of the Alawai. Besides the schools, we believe that working with the community is vital. Oftentimes, parents hear about EM from their children when they come home from school. Additionally, the students who learned how to make Genki balls can then teach younger students how to get involved as well. On this day, we teamed up with local canoe clubs in cleanup, Genki ball making, and tossing.
Thank you for cleaning. Oh, what is that? TV?
I found a TV. I don't think we have that.
I've seen everything float down this canal, from ice boxes to sofas to bed mattresses.
Especially with the Genki Ball project, doing what I saw at the top of the canal today. I mean, I remember 2 years ago that thing was filthy. When I was up there today picking up rubbish, I saw sand, I saw rocks back there. They were covered before. So, you know, if it continues down, the watershed and everything here is going to get back to how it was once upon a time.
So mahalo to all the families, to all the friends, to all the organizations, and to everyone who decided to pay attention. Whenever we enter into a circle, it's all good intentions. Nothing for show, all about heart. Close your eyes and imagine a century ago, before 1917, when the canal was formed. Barely a building here, just trees, swamp areas, rice paddies, local i'a from mountain to the sea. We let go all of the budget problems. We let go all of the concerns, distractions, fears, uncertainties, and you replace it with hope.
With our goal to make the alawai swimmable and fishable in 7 years, it is important for the community to work together for the health of our environment. In Hawaii, our water, or vai, is our wealth. Through our program, students and teachers developed a sense of responsibility to care for our environment. And it's that feeling that has now gone beyond the classroom and spread throughout our community.
They were motivated to get answers, to do research, and to share what they learned with others. And I think, you know, that's what we want kids to understand, that learning is a process. And I think this is going to help them understand that learning is every day and it's all around them.
And I was actually very, very happy when Miss Kui said that we got to make these Genki balls at first. At first, I didn't really know what these were until we did researching. Like, we tested the colors of the water and it started to get more clear. It helps creature return to their home.
To do this when see all the youngsters, that means so much to me. Being born and raised in Kapuhulu my whole life on this canal, my dad, my uncles, my aunties, we was all raised around this area. For me, it's just an amazing thing to see so much people with the same hope and dreams as I have.
Thank you for listening to our story. Our educator friends shared that there are learning opportunities all around us, and when students can see the impact of their actions, they get excited to learn more. And I think if a student sees that it's possible to heal something as damaged as Alawai Canal, then that'll give them hope that anything is possible in life as long as people are willing to work together. So thanks for watching.
That was
Yay.
pretty inspirational. Thank you so much,
Wow.
Hiro, for helping lead this project. Not just, and we're so proud that it is a technology that comes from Okinawa, and it
Yes.
comes from Dudai, and that's
Mhm.
something that we should all be super proud of. And
Yeah.
to see the alawai, those pictures actually change, and you're right. Like people my age, we think of the alawai as like, ew, gross. Don't even touch it. You might, that guy who died. Like we all know about that guy who died after falling into the alawai. But to change that narrative about the alawai and to know that just a generation ago it was a place where people swam and fished, and and how do we get it back there?
Yeah.
So.
I think the beauty of it is such a collaborative event, and then it will be a model for the rest of the world. But just to get HUO support, I really want to thank David at Arakawa. He actually put me on the agenda just before we started, and then with that, we got to present to HUA for their support as well too, and other club members. So
I
that was
remember
like
tracking a
the
letter
first
of support.
domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get that support. So just knocking down that first domino led to others, and just reaching out to all the Okinawan community that's in the higher level to get the approvals too. Like I would call Sandy, going, "Hey, Sandy, can you get support from the Department of Education?" And she
Department of
allowed
Health, Department of
support,
Education, all of these.
agriculture. So thanks to our Uchinanchu network, we can make this happen. Yeah, I'm so proud.
I think this is, again, watching that video, I think it's important for people watching Yuntaku Live to see that, because it's involving the kids, the next generation. I can't stress that enough, right? And you meld that with bioremediation, I think you call it, right? It's all natural. I mean, those light colored Genki balls, the real light ones, I mean, they look like they're powdered sugar. Kind of look delicious, actually.
Yeah, that's the yeast. That's the really actually the good beneficial microbes. It's like katsuo bushi. You see that white thing? Like when it's hard, it's just a nice covering of the beneficial bacteria.
Good bacteria. Dean Shimabukuro is remembering that, what he's saying, what a great project. He remembers his dad taking him to the fishing chairs, right? That were out there.
Nice.
But never did right. And he never did right, but he remembers seeing the electric boats too, right? So it's not that long
I mean,
ago.
even
Not that long
the
ago.
the boathouse has Okinawan roots, right? Because that was the Higa family running the boathouse.
Really?
Yeah.
We
So
got lots of Okinawan connections here on the
I mean, I'm
ROI.
excited. We're not halfway, but 2028 is the goal, right? And I think you may have mentioned, or it was in the materials, that marks the 100 years of the Alawai Canal. So, wow, what a
It took
great
7 years to actually finish the canal. So that's how we're setting our goal to make it swimmable, fishable in 7 years. But they already dredged it, so I'm hoping we can do it in 5 years. So that's my plan. But yeah, we set it for 7 years at least.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This is I'm proud. I'm just so proud that this is an Okinawan invention too. That makes me just extra proud of it, right? And
Yeah, the small island. I mean, going out and over 100 countries, they're doing so many wonderful things. Yeah.
Linda says Hiro deserves an award for his amazing work. Hiro and Chikako. And Chikako too. Chikako, I know you're
Chikako was in the video, so we got to see Chikako.
Yes.
So,
okay.
People learned a lot, watching Yuntaku Live today, but how can they learn more?
Yeah, so they can come down to our store, our office on Nimitz Highway. We're inside Nalama Kukui, 560 North Nimitz Highway, right between Ross and City Mill. You can also visit our website, emhawaii.com. Give us a call. We're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 3. Yeah, we have a lot of products. We can answer any questions. We also have Facebook, Instagram, so you can check those links as well too. But yeah, thank you very much for letting me be on. Our purpose and mission is to really restore our ecosystem and create a society where everyone can nurture each other and prosper, right? And so I think when people work and use EM, they learn to live and learn the wonders of living with nature and the natural healing power of humans, and realize, a lot of the stereotype of belief that we're led to believe, so we can create a lot of change, positive changes moving forward.
Wow,
I'm going to stop by Nimitz. I know I've been there many times, but I'm going to stop by again and, look at all your products.
Bacteria in my gut. I need the good bacteria in my gut.
Get the bacteria that eats all the extra food in my stomach. Yeah.
It's not eating the food, John. It's not eating the food.
This weekend, actually, we have a large community event. We partner with the Rotary, and they actually got 7 businesses lined up as sponsors. So this Saturday, we'll be making at the Kapahulu and working a lot with and we're thankful for the collaborative effort with the Kapahulu Library, with the city as well too. We're planning to make about 5,000 to 6,000 Genki balls. And then another few weeks later, April 2nd, we plan to toss those in. So the company's actually committed for a set amount of Genki balls, and we'll be making it this weekend. So I want to give a shout out to the Rotary as well, to the Eco Club Rotary of Kakako.
Oh, yeah.
But anybody can make their own Genki ball, right?
Well, actually, because the we're under a permit, and then to actually toss and make, it's a really coordinated effort because we want to do before and after data collection. So it's not like just anybody can make and toss. Yeah. So we
No,
wanna-
I mean
like-
not so much into the alawai, but can someone make a Genki ball at home for their fish?
You can, but actually the EM1 liquid is enough. So if you have like
Yeah, you
aquarium
would
or
just pour
pond,
that in your
yeah,
pond.
so you don't have to go through the whole process. So that's just another added
These are
step.
like
You don't really
amped up.
need it for home use, that kind of thing. But for the canal, it's just because the way the canal is, and it's more of a collaborative, with the schools
Yeah.
and other communities. And because it can go down to the bottom and eat up the sludge. I mean, there's like 9 feet, right? So they dredged it, and there's still about at least knee deep sludge still yet, even after they dredged. So we still got a lot way to go. But what's good about the alawai, kind of just goes up and down with the tide. So the microbes actually really stay there in the area.
So when are we gonna have EM on the gi?
You can put the EMX in there and call it EM on the gi.
Yeah, I think
actually
you
they
feel
have
better
EM
after I eat
Chinsko
them
in
because-
Okinawa. They have EM Chinsko and all kind of different EM.
Yeah, I
by
think
adding
Boka-
value added
Oka will
products.
make EM on the gi for next fundraiser. Before we let you go, I should have brought a photo of that too. EM hotels, that's still going okay after the
it's
pandemic.
amazing. The last Taikai went to visit was one of the popular spots. So this Taikai, let me know. We can give a call out and maybe do something. So that hotel was a abandoned Sheraton hotel. When I was there, it was like a ghost hotel over 10 years. And then the EM research group, Professor Higa, purchased it, redid it. Instead of breaking it down and going to the landfill, they actually refurbished it, put EM in the concrete, in the paint. And it's just an amazing hotel. They use EM for cleaning. The food is wonderful. It's all EM grown food. They recycle the food waste, go back to the farm, and they serve a lot of the products, the eggs from the farm at the hotel.
It's a wellness hotel, and
It's a wellness hotel. They changed the name. It's called EM Kurashi Hakko, I think, some kind of EM fermentation hotel. So it's all about the fermentation lifestyle. But if you're in Okinawa, please go and visit. It's in Kitanaka-Gusku.
I've always taken my groups there and at least have lunch, and they all love it. And they walk around and see the amenities there, and they're like, "Wow, this is like a natural. I mean, get healthy kind of hotel." And they kind of
It is.
They
Actually,
wanted
the whole area got cleaner and better energy because before it was just abandoned hotel all that time. So now it's like really nice, beautiful.
And that was in what was the specific?
Kitanaka-Gusku.
Oh yeah, you did say Kitanaka-Gusku. Okay. You can see it from the freeway.
Right now, sorry, everyone.
Correct. Yeah.
Looking it up right now.
On the expressway.
Yeah. So a lot of you, when you get back to Okinawa or go for Taikai and you're on the expressway going up, to Nago, well before you get to Nago, but you look up to your right and you'll see the EM hotel up there.
Hi.
Okay. Wow.
Well, thanks so much, Hiro. It was good catching up.
No, thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well,
Okay,
see
don't
you again.
forget to stop by because we need help with our Dago plan again.
Oh yeah.
I think the wasp.
Yeah, Gary's also been good
He's
too.
doing
He
better
knows how to
now,
use
right?
it around the grounds. Yeah.
Yeah, the fish pond was doing. We also put it in our HOC fish pond, right?
Yeah. So, when Jane was there, we really worked well. She would call me up and then use the EM one time, and a lot of fungus too around a lot of the plants that are dying back. So we sprayed that, and that took care of the fungus really well. So,
Right on.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hiro, for all your.
Well, thank you for all you guys do for the community. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us again. Episode 57, Yuntaku Live. Join us again in 2 weeks for our next episode. And hope you keep supporting not only Yuntaku Live but HUOA through all your donations and support. We're able to continue all our programs. And of course, we're here for all of you and people like Hiromichi with their projects. So again, please continue to support us, and Ipe Nihe Debiru.
Hey.
Arigato. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.